There it is, I think.
Where's that?
It's up over here. Hi, everyone. We were having a gossip, so we were a couple minutes late. So you know how it goes.
The gossip. Damn.
Mhm. Always. So Gemini's secret power is talking and gossip. So. But if you tell it to me, I won't tell it to nobody else. But I will repeat it in my mind a couple times.
I just saw you have a poll going in the chat. I had to go in and do it.
GYM, Jim Jordan, lost his bid for the speakership, 3 times? Or did
And
it
his
2 times?
dignity.
3?
He lost his dignity.
He lost his pants. He went down badly.
When they did the secret vote, he lost even more. I think he only got like 86 votes or something like that.
As SNL said, that included with the 6 versions of George Santos.
Wow.
It's like, what do you even say other than haha? So it's
Yeah.
To even think that he thought that he had a chance it's kind of funny, actually.
Like I get it. It's the GOP. Donald Trump was y'all's president. So why not Jim Jordan be your speaker or Marjorie Taylor Greene be your it's not that far fetched.
Yeah, exactly. He loves a heel kicker. That's what he wants. Yeah.
But it's one of those, he has the Ted Cruz effect, it seems, to where if they stabbed you to death on the House floor, nobody'd say a thing. So they didn't really like you thought they did. And so
They're going to
Are they going to go with the chipmunk now? That guy? What's his name?
Or maybe they'll go, who's the African Americans? He's Donald somebody. I'll put him on the list too. He's, they run out of options, so they bring out the tokens, as they say. So there's
it's now human sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know what I saw? I saw it on Twitter, but I don't know if it's true or not, or if it was just people messing with the pictures. But the bow tie gavel guy?
Yeah.
The guy that's like the
chipmunk.
The chipmunk, the bow tie gavel guy. Well, I guess he's really short. I think he's, not short. He's 5'5". I'm 5'5". But I guess they were saying on Twitter that he didn't like that the chair that was behind him was so huge and it made him look really small. So they switched the chair to a small chair so he wouldn't look so little.
He looks like this.
I don't know if it's true, but I laughed.
And that's why he had to bang the shit out of that gavel, just to prove it more.
The bow tie gavel guy. And then there was like a picture of him at a press conference and he was standing on top of a crate so that he was taller. Like, it's just...
Oh, no. But he could get some tips from Tom Cruise.
Put lifts in your chair, get you a booster seat, get your phone books for your car. You'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
They're saying he did change. They're saying that he did change the chair. So I don't know if that's true or not, but it was like a huge chair, and he looked so tiny in front of it.
He's swinging his feet.
We're cruel. Look, I'm sure 5 years ago we weren't cruel people.
Matt Gaetz is buddying up with Hobart Bobert, so I'm sure. Okay, is he raising his age limit now, or is he just trying to?
He's too old for
in
him.
the middle of the house.
So that's how the week has been going. So hopefully y'all are doing all right out there in this hemisphere. The seasons are changing, so hopefully it's not 120 wherever you are anymore. At least it's been, I think, 50 and 60 around here, and I got a nose full of pollen, so now I have sinus problems. So a nose full of something. I don't know what's flying in the air. But now I have a wintertime allergy too, so that's cute. But it's going to rain all next week, which I like. And it's going to be down into the 40s and 30s too. So,
I'm coming over.
You come on.
My car and start driving to Oregon.
Jen, sorry, I have to comment on the creepy hand device.
Johnny has creepy baby head, so I have creepy Hobart hand.
I reckon.
Groping.
The groper hand.
Well.
That is seriously disturbing.
And I got a chance to meet a couple of you, actually, that also live locally. So, hi again. At least in passing, I did. So, Becca, anything going on? Thank you, me, myself, and I.
No.
Lena, anything going on?
No. There's so much going on, I don't know where to start. But no, I'll just say no. It's easier.
Sometimes no is a good thing. It's like, please, nothing else. And JenLynTarot.com, anything going on?
The book of reading, JenLynTarot.com. Make sure 2 N's in Jen, 2 N's in Lynn. I have some openings in November and early December, and then I'm taking a break after Christmas for a little bit. So get your readings in if you want one before Christmas. Next week on my channel is our annual Halloween get together. And that's, well, you know, we usually dress up a little bit.
And bring out the creepy hands. Yeah.
And bring out the creepy hands.
And creepy baby head back there.
It's right there, too.
I have it taped on a cat toy, so the cats keep playing with this and making it bounce. Right, Bella.
And also thank you to Gigi, who sent me some decks today that I shall use. The box did not survive. You know, I told somebody at work, I said, I did look for it, but I looked for it like a man, so you know what that means. I just kind of skimmed and I didn't see it. And I open boxes the same way. If I tug at it twice and it doesn't open, I just rip it open. And so this one didn't quite survive. But thank you for the tarot decks.
I mean, next week's our 4th anniversary of Sunday Night Lives. Can you believe it's been 4 years we've been doing this?
Wow.
So thank y'all for hanging with us for 4 years.
So that's next week.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Hard to believe it's been 4 years.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 4 years of hell.
Thank you to Donald Trump, who made all this possible.
Exactly.
And all the other gross GOP.
Yes, that's the only time you're going to ever hear me say thank you for anything. Unless you put me in your will, then I might say thank you under my breath.
Can you imagine, without him, things would not have gotten as gross as they got.
He was part of that, I guess, that Pluto return, because he did drain the swamp, which exposed all the monsters, which is what America is supposed to be going through. So he was a necessary evil, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
It's horrible to say.
Becca had her birthday last Tuesday. She's another year older now.
Yeah, I'm old.
Another book to the shelf.
I was so happy I snagged the last one. All the other ones were behind the register because people called and reserved them. So they got put behind the register. So I got the last one because I started reading the Kindle book. I thought they would come out at midnight, but it got to my Kindle at 9 because I guess it's Eastern Standard Time, not Pacific. So I started reading it. I stayed up till 4, went to sleep, went straight down to the bookstore at 10 o'clock in the morning and got the last copy and finished reading it. So, and then let's see, I got donuts from Krispy Kreme. I got Menchie's for my birthday. What else did I get?
Just ice cream, right?
Mm-hmm. The little Menchie's, the frozen yogurt. I took you there when you were here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went to Menchie's. And then did a bunch of other stuff, and then I came home and read. That was it. I did not make myself a cake though, because like I said, downstairs is a disaster zone down there. So yeah.
So
birthdays now, I only do decades. I can't be bothered with them.
It's all a little in between business.
No.
So
It's like my nieces. I don't know how old any of them are until they hit the zero. So they have to know. So I posted in the chat a poll whether Jim Jordan was sad about his loss or not. Is the star of my thumbnail today. So I want to know what his feelings are on his three times the charm, not so much this time, on his 3 times being voted Mr. Congeniality, not winning the speakership. What is his feelings on not being voted House Speaker?
Once, twice, 3 times a loser, but twice, 3 times a lady.
You see my
I was
thumbnail?
looking for the line, Jen. Thanks.
And the way I found that thumbnail is typing in Jim Jordan loser. And then
It was hysterical too because he kept losing by more. He wasn't gaining any points.
That's what was so fabulous.
It was just like, there's a thing in the universe when something's not working for you and you keep doing it, try something else.
Yes.
Jim.
Bless his heart, not.
Yeah, sing Lionel Richie once, twice, 3 times a lady, but substitute lady for loser.
Yeah. Oh, he's the crappiest cards in the world.
His shoulders kept getting more and more stooped over when he'd walk down this hall. He's like getting down.
With all due respect, yeah, it took McCarthy 15 times.
They were playing with him.
They were playing with him, but to his credit, McCarthy never got as little votes as.
No.
He at least got as many votes as Hakeem Jeffries, which Jordan never beat Hakeem. Like, dude, you are not even beating the Democrats. Come on. And then yelling matches and behind the scenes in their meetings they were having, it was hysterical.
The reports were that it almost like people were yelling and screaming at each other, and it would have gotten physically violent at one point. I mean, I believe it. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for that.
I mean,
Yeah, or a fly on someone's head. You know?
Oh, well, I think I'd have laughed at the back of the room the whole time.
I would have. I would have been there on my phone recording it.
I'm getting he's feeling really defeated, but it will make him angry and fight more. Like he's going to get louder is what I'm getting. He's very confused and anxious about why he didn't get the votes. He thought that some people would change their votes for him. And he was seeking a lot of them out behind the scenes. He thought he had enough. But no, you're a loser. People migrated away from you. You're dark night of the soul. But I get he's going to take some actions against some of those that voted against him. So
yeah.
he's going to do something to let them know he's disappointed in them.
Yeah.
What you getting, Lena?
Well, he's convinced he was robbed. I should have been a contender here. But
it was
he did the numbers, and he just, didn't make the cut. He's now not on the top of everybody's Christmas list. It's like, this is what happens with dysfunctional people. They always blame someone else. So he blames other people blame him and everyone else, and the blame game just keeps on going on. But look, I don't know that he's got a great future here. Like, really. And I think the question was, how does he feel? I think he felt every one of those go in, because he's the sort of guy who doesn't think or feel. He just rants. He's a legend in his own lunchtime.
That'd be
And so,
22 daggers in his back on that last vote.
yeah,
wouldn't it?
I think for the question, he felt every one of them. Whoa. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and he's still got Fonnie Willis after him, trying to teach him what's legal.
Oh, no. That's right. Oh, sorry, I forgot my fifth card. How could I forget? I think it's going to send him a bit bonkers because he was the school bully. He would have been the college bully. He was the everything bully. He's not used to this, Yeah, a bit nutty. What about you, Becca?
I get that he now has knowledge that the House is divided and very partisan. Who is on the side? Who is on Trump's side? Who are the real loyalists and who are not? Who are there faking it? He's got that knowledge now. I would not be surprised because this is vindictive. It strikes out. Do you see what I'm saying? I would not be surprised, even though right here at the crossroads, the House and the book, there was a secret vote with members of the House. But Jim Jordan is stupid, but I'm sure he can count. And to be vindictive, I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of probably a Donald Trump campaign against these people because this is loyalty that is betrayed. Do you see what I'm saying?
I got a follow-up question to that.
I have a follow-up question.
He knows the members of the House that are really MAGA and which ones are doing it for their own political gain, even if the vote was done in secret. The loyalty is betrayed here, and he strikes out.
And they would all know who everybody was.
Yeah. Even though the vote was secret, he's got a good understanding now with the book in the middle. He's got a good understanding now of who could be not really MAGA and then report back to the Donald and because he's vindictive.
He got an endorsement from Donald Trump, did he not?
How well did that work out for you behind closed doors?
So that's
it always
forgotten in all of this. Exactly. This is a Trump failure as well.
So I got 5 of Cups. There's your sadness and depression and your loss and your grief. Mind you, your 3 cups have fallen and your 2 cups remain, but your eyes are fixated on the loss. And so there's that. Page of Swords, negative news, the bad news that comes in. Now, mind you, you can still make a positive out of anything, but when you're in this position, it's hard to see the light of day. All you really do is just go through the stages of grief type thing. But I think his world gets a lot smaller. The Wheel of Fortune and the 4 of Pentacles. This should be your turning point to success, but it's like he becomes cornered almost. And I think what may happen, because the Justice card and the Ace of Swords is here too, is you may have some situation to where you were going in this direction and then you hit a roadblock and now you have to go in this direction, which may lead you to testifying somewhere or court somewhere or subpoena somewhere, at least a tipped subpoena. And so because you keep poking at the law and there's only so many times you can do that. And then the fates, the Wheel of Fortunes will let you in. Just like Donald Trump wanted attention. Now he got it. So if you keep following that playbook of, hey, look at me, then everybody's going to. Ask Mayor Suarez down in Miami, the same thing. Now he's going to be under investigation soon too. So there's that. What's your follow-up question?
Did Jim Jordan, based on what Becca was getting there, did he think he had the votes when they were behind the scenes voting? And then when they got to the floor, some people surprised him and didn't vote for him? Did he think he had the votes? And then got embarrassed.
My feeling is it was a bit of both in the sense I don't think he thought he was guaranteed the numbers he wanted, but I think he was shocked that there was more than 1 or 2. And
the fact the numbers kept going up and stuff, did he see all those meetings behind the scenes? He had because that's what Nancy Pelosi always made sure of before she brought a vote to the floor. She knew what that vote was going to be.
She knew.
But sorry, Lena, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's one of the glorious things about all this. It's actually sapped his power generally going forward. he's no longer the invincible Jim Jordan by any definition.
What really infuriated me about the whole thing is that he was 20 something votes short when it was live on the House. When they took it behind closed doors, he lost even more.
Yeah.
So that tells me that there's a bunch of cowards in the Republican Party that don't want to spook their constituents. You know,
it does
look like they're on board, but then you get them behind closed doors and like, oh, hell no. You know, so you're willing to sacrifice the entire country for your political career.
Yeah.
Because Jim Jordan is dangerous. You know,
because the other thing is too, the bullying that he did and his henchmen did, you know, with those things. Yeah, right. Backfired. I think, like, pessimism is contagious, optimism is contagious, courage is contagious, cowardliness is contagious. You know, this happens. Yeah. People go with majority. And I think there was just enough. And then when all those things hit, that a few people stepped back and went, no, that's actually there. No.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anyone expected that.
Yeah, I get he thought he had the votes. He thought he had the power, and, you know, bullying the wives, you know, of some of the legislatures and everything. He thought he had it in the bag, and then this betrayal comes out and he loses. And
why are they surprised? You've seen Donald Trump with this playbook for 7 years now?
I think people lied to him in those meetings in the back, and then they get on the floor and it's all, you know, registered with their name, how they voted. You're
okay with people acting like this when it's others, but when it's at you, then all of a sudden you have a problem?
Well, that's like what is happening to them. They've run out of scapegoats, and they've only got each other now.
He ignored his subpoena to Congress, and then he was threatening to put people in jail that ignored subpoenas, and now he's trying to ignore a subpoena to Fonnie Willis and everything. It's like, come on.
What'd you get, Lena?
Sorry, I've got election results. Just give me a moment. Okay. So, hand delivered. Gracias, mi amor. Okay. So, you've got to remember, in the Argentinian context, the middle of the road, center left, center right, who have let inflation get to 140%. But because of the maniac, they started to look attractive, right? Because you're dealing with that risk. So, the centre has come out with 35.9%, more than the maniac at 30-something. And then the right-wing bulldozer, the perfumed bulldozer, Patricia, she didn't get much. So the point is, the worst of the worst didn't happen. I'm here to report live.
So the chainsaw guy didn't win?
No.
Oh.
You talk, I'll find out some fine print.
He thought he was going to win. He thought people were passionately going to deliver him what he wanted. And he was just going to go on his merry little way with his little merry band of insurrectionists, and everything was going to be fine. And it's like, do you not know how to count, homeboy? Because before the votes even started, there was no. But I guess he thought he could just bully him, and Donald Trump can just bully their way into it. How'd that work out for you?
Did he believe that he had it? Three of Pentacles says yes, or he thought that he was in collaboration with, like, these are the people I need, and we got it. So it's like, you talk to 10, you talk to this one, you talk to that 10, and then we got it. But then defeat was there. I think this is not so much defeat. There is another aspect to the Five of Swords, which is the bully card. And so maybe he was trying to use his national cachet to say, hey, I'm Jim Jordan, and I approve this message. Make sure you go out and vote for me, and I'm stronger than you are, type of thing, because he felt as though his position he could rest upon. He didn't have to try it so much. Four Swords and the Strength card. He kind of had this one in the bag. He thought that the ground soldiers were going to bring it his way, more so than himself because he's kind of sitting pretty. But that's not how it worked, buddy. Now, my question is he going to actually be able to pull off a revenge plot, or is this hot air as well? Because, I mean, he has no power now. So
Okay.
will he be able to?
The revenge of Jim Jordan. But I think it's really important, those guys who were the young wrestlers who are now middle-aged men, they're getting airtime again, and that story's not going away.
At all. Who was it? Was the Scarlet Letter A lady? Was that Nancy Rose, something like that? Nancy something? Nancy Mace. She said that she voted against McCarthy, but she voted for Jim Jordan. And they asked her about, well, why did you vote against McCarthy? Because he didn't keep none of his promises. And why did you vote for Jim Jordan? Because he has strong work ethic. And they said, well, what about the scandal? And I don't know anything about that. So he's never been indicted for anything. So I don't know anything about that.
So the whole 16 years he's been there, not once ever brought a bill to the floor ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I have something that I'm just kind of speculating. It's like, I wonder how Kevin McCarthy feels to see how quickly Jim Jordan was to just jump on one of these things, considering how much power and how much stuff McCarthy let Jordan get away with.
Yeah.
You know?
I think you better realize, Jim Jordan, you've now got a long-term enemy in McCarthy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Because Jim Jordan's all mouth, you know exactly what's going on in that head, but McCarthy's asleep.
Uh-huh.
So what's the question, Johnny?
Will he be able to pull off his revenge plots?
The revenge plot.
Yeah. Just like it's going so well for Donald Trump's revenge plot too, huh? Everybody going to jail.
Oh, God. One revenge. Is Jim Jordan married?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. Well, maybe
She chose him. I've got zero.
Yes, maybe she.
It's
Maybe
like
she's
poor
blind and
malaria. I don't think so.
Yeah.
She's blind and deaf and mute. Because how could you?
Oh Lord.
No.
He's not. He is not. He's like, he wants to move into action. He's trying to hang on. He's got people he works with he wants to manipulate just for image sake.
Yeah.
He is not, he's not liking this. He's going to come off as very, very emotional, and everybody's going to watch this, and he is just stuck and tempered down, and, dude, you might as well retire and shut up.
Well, yeah.
What'd you get, Lena?
Well, funnily enough, he's with this Three of Pentacles. Normally, people working cooperatively. It could be him with two others, and he's probably got illicit sex tapes on them or something. He's got, I think, only two allies really who are prepared to go further forward with him. So this is the plotting and planning. When he comes out of his depression, he's going to be, really angry and want to do damage. But while he's not looking, he's got a bit of a legal thing coming up on the inside, that I think he's underestimating. And then I pulled some of my new tarot cards from Argentina, and here they are. There's El Colgado, which is the Hanged Man, and I love this, El Loco, the Fool. So it's like his hands are tied with the Hanged Man. He's all blur, 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 typical. But in answer to the question, no. And probably he'll do nasty stuff, but No, his power's been sapped by this.
He has none. He had none to begin with.
Well,
The only power he had was the Judiciary Committee. That nothing came out of it because guess what? You kind of need evidence to move stuff forward.
I know that's disappointing.
Kind of need to follow the law.
He's got a plot to seek out loyalists and be very committed in the next elections to install bootlickers and loyalists. Will he be successful? No. It's separated. See what I'm saying? And good luck with that because your boss, Donald Trump, kind of bankrupted the RNC. So have fun, you know. But
will you be able to pull off your plot? No. There is a 6 of Swords and the 5 of Cups. Take your L and keep it moving. Take your whipping and go sit down somewhere. This is transition to other things, and then this is your grief and your sadness, your loss. Nostalgia plays a fact. So an old friend may be the fool. So I think what's going to happen in this situation is you may have a little get together with you know who, and y'all may discuss some things. Word of warning is the government, though. So there's someone I spoke to recently who said that overthrowing the government would not be that difficult. All you got to do is this, and this. So here's the thing, and I sold them that too. I said, never ever think that you know more than something bigger than you. Now, because from the outside, it looks like the only thing I need to do to knock this house down is huff and puff or take this brick out and it falls in Jenga. Meanwhile, there's something behind that wall and something behind that wall and then some underneath both of those walls. And so there's always something. People will see you coming and then take you out beforehand, whatever the case may be. Never think you know something or know more than something bigger than you. That's just until you get in there and then fine, but fine. Out in the cold, no, can't do it. Republican Party is quite secure without you. So if you plan to try to stick the needles in whoever's voodoo doll, it's not going to work. You may want to actually turn your gaze upon raising money so that you can save it in case you need some lawyers and not be bankrupt like Mike Lindell and all the rest of people who can't afford lawyers right now. So lawyers are having a good time these past 7 years.
And have a lot of fun practicing in front of the mirror. I plead the fifth. Okay? Word of advice.
Now that his power is sapped a little bit, will people be in the Republican Party be more vocal against him, against Jim Jordan? Will they start speaking out more against him and put him in his place?
I hope so. We're going to ask that?
Yeah. Is he going to get retaliation from those that are like, okay, you threatened my wife with phone calls and blah, 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 sick your minions on us. They're already talking about maybe expelling Matt Gaetz and George Santos, Jim Jordan. Keep it up. You could be the next one to be investigated to expel.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question again?
Will Republicans start retaliating against Jim Jordan more and lashing out at him?
Sure.
I get a no. I get that the talking, the gossiping, people are very nervous. This is not two cards to have that are good together. Nervousness and anxiety. Their talking is going to be diminished. They're not going to come out in front of a camera and trash him. But they are going to email each other about it. They are going to put the results about it. There's going to be a bunch of voicemails and text messages and all sorts of stuff talking about what a quack job and how much they're losing, but they're not going to openly say it. So I hope a reporter gets these leaked emails or text messages or whatever the F, because it'll be there, but they're not going to come out and say it.
Well, will I go, Johnny?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. They must be worried. Okay, because it's starting to look really bad no matter how many bows you put on it. Okay, so I think someone's going to come to the surface trying to be the grown-up in the GOP and sort of whip them into line with this King of Swords and say, look, we have to pull together. You know, this whole circus is falling apart. There must be those still left who are doing that. But they can't control the maddies, you know, the MTGs and the others, and or even Jim Jordan for that matter. They can't control these ones. And the party itself is in a hostage situation. And looking at the death of, seriously, we've been talking about this for 5 years, but it's like looking at the death of the Republican Party as we would recognize it, no matter what we think about it, because they can't, their hands are tied. They tied themselves, because we know this is often self-imposed. They got themselves in this situation, and there isn't an exit strategy here.
There actually is bipartisanship, because you have enough hands to.
What a radical concept!
But can't do that either.
Exactly.
They're so hyper-partisan that they won't. So that's their own problem over there.
I get they watch him and they may temper him a little, but they feel victorious that they got him to move on from the speaker thing. And they showed that his image is very erratic and delusional, and that he's a bully and all that, and bullying for the votes that came out. But it's going to cause more division in the party. I don't get that they'll go after him.
Yeah,
that's what my readings kept saying too, is this is causing a split. And I mean, they already had one with Donald Trump, but it's causing even more.
Yeah. Now we know who's on which team.
It's cracked glass effect, and it just keeps splintering.
Yeah, that's
right. Support is going to be there, at least for the public eye. So they're not going to come out and say he's a bunch of galoot right now. There is the Hangman and the Ace of Wands. So there may be some stalling. If he can let this go, then we can let whatever we were going to do go too. But if you're going to keep going on, then maybe something behind the scenes, mind you, may happen to where they pull him in the room, pull him to the side and say, hey, look, you're not the one, so forth, so forth. But will they start to speak out? I don't really think so. There's the Knight of Swords. One person may be very vocal, but they're going to be written off as erratic too. So it's not a full concerted effort, not a full court press to get Jim Jordan out of the spotlight forever. But there's that. Speaking of spotlight, Sidney Powell has what, a $5,000 fine, $2,600 in restitution to Georgia or something like that, and probation.
6 years of probation.
6 years
She's
of probation.
68, so she ain't going to be lawyering much.
Keep your nose clean.
Guilty to a felony.
No,
and don't forget,
Serena, this is something about the system that I don't understand. Can you let us know in the comments? You can be charged with a felony, but if you plead, it gets reduced to a misdemeanor. That's why they both. Do you know?
Yeah, it depends on who's giving you the plea deal, because the other guy, the other lawyer, what was his name? Chesborough got one felony out of the whole thing, but he still pled. They still have him on, I think, count 15 as a felony, but the rest are misdemeanors. So they kept him with one felony.
They were starting jury selection when he accepted that plea deal. That was 9th hour, 9th minute, 9th second.
I am not a lawyer, Lena, but it appears that it depends on the circumstances of the plea, because Sidney Powell got everything dropped to a misdemeanor. Chesborough got everything dropped except for one. He's still facing one felony count as a first offender.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Okay, but it's still weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like in Australia, you would get a reduction of severity in the sentence, and a reduction charge, but it wouldn't be described as a misdemeanor, which is spitting on the sidewalk. I mean,
Yeah.
spare me. I don't understand your
You also have to remember too, these are state felonies. You still have Jack Smith with his federal felony stuff coming down the pike.
Absolutely. Neither of them are out of the woods.
Nope.
And it's more that I think the fish on the hook type thing. They want something bigger than you, and so I'll go light on you for this if you can give me enough information for that. But
Well,
if
the
not,
other thing, the other thing too is more comes out. They could still be charged with other crimes.
Yes, and hopefully they will be, because otherwise it's shameful, even if it goes all the way up the chain.
Oh, absolutely.
How many diapers do you think Trump went through when those two flipped? How many diapers?
Well, that's not that as far as the question, but it's kind of going in that direction. Is what does her flipping? How does that impact Donald Trump? Everything has to be about him. So how does
and
that?
And he actually said it. I thought of you guys when I read this morning. He said she was never my lawyer.
Sydney Kraken Powell, who? Kenneth Cheeseboro, who?
He's got the worst short-term memory in the world. Oh, Lord. So how does her flipping impact Donald Trump?
You mean personally, the man?
Yes, like legally speaking. Because here's where I'm coming from with this.
Okay.
He claims he's done nothing, and then yet everybody has done something. It is now being proven. And so this is going to lead to him at some point. So how does that impact him? Does it blow anything open? Does it secure Jack's case and Fonnie's case? What does it do?
Okay.
For the most innocent man in the witch hunt trials there is ever.
That's funny. You just said innocent.
Yeah.
You get the child.
Center of the reed too.
Hi, Edie.
Hi, Edie.
Hi, Edie. Good evening. Well, I think it penetrated even his, primitive brain. There's a lot of anxiety here. And it may even be right until this point. He thought he'd be able to just bat it away and blame all the lawyers, This is affecting him. Page of Cups, as Hogarth would say, stinky fish. There's no way around it. It's a burden that he can't escape. He will try and do the tap dance as he always does and, blame other people. But what's left of his legal practitioners are going to say, this means you have to do X, Y, and Z. So it's not the absolute word, but he won't do it. It even looks like him, So he's famous for never following legal advice, and he's not going to start now. So they're going to say something like, just go for mental health, or, it's got that serious now in legal terms,
It reminds me of the Grand Tableau. It really does, because it's like that's the only out he has with everything that's like. Anyways, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Well, I'm finishing on that. And he's going, what, me? I'm president.
He's disgusted. I have that too. He's disgusted that they flipped and thinks that they're trying to protect their image with the whole network of them, and he realizes it puts him in defense mode more. But he also realizes he's toast, and he looks at this as a betrayal. He's still smug, but he looks at this as a betrayal. He's thinking anxiously, how can I manipulate them? Or someone else. Exactly. Who can I manipulate? What can I manipulate?
Yeah.
it's bad news all the way around. Tower moment. Stabbed in the back. I mean, it can't get any worse.
Exactly.
And,
Road pancake, the dunk.
and I'm just gonna snort a whole nose full and get off balance. That's what he's thinking. Hey, why are you rattling that?
That's classic.
So for Sydney Powell, I will say she's not the only one. There's going to be another woman, Queen of Spades, Queen of Clubs here. There's going to be another one, younger, that flips as well. He sees the flipping as a betrayal. I saw in the chat that he just came out today saying that Sydney Powell was never his lawyer.
Yeah. It's like a joke, you know. We all say that.
It doesn't make it true.
Seriously saying his lawyer.
He's like the freaking village idiot that doesn't understand that just because you're lying doesn't make it true and not people are going to believe you.
He gets handed a gag order and goes on the curb and complains about the judge. I mean, who does that?
And the judge just threatened him with jail time, and he went out there. You can't, like, this guy is just testing, but it's not the only betrayal, but there's another one coming. But he sees her flipping on him as a betrayal. His innocence here, he's backed up into a corner. Like there's no way around this, and he's a target.
Yeah.
So the flipping, him innocent, gets cut off here. And then there's more than one powerful enemy. It's like a mountain of enemies here with the mountain enemies. Yeah. So everybody over here, to be innocent, they will flip and betray for their innocence. Make you the enemy and make you the target. So there's this woman here, two younger men here. They're not older, they're younger. So not like a Cheeseborough or what's his face?
Scott Hall.
Or the other ones, they're
Giuliani.
It's not old like them. These are younger. So a younger woman, Powell, and then these two younger ones, males. So there's more coming. But
well, the woman that was in the county where they were getting the machines, which gave them ammunition for Sydney Powell's lawsuit with Dominion, because they were saying, Sydney Powell contacted them and was manipulating the machines. So, it's all going to cost her in the Dominion lawsuit big time. But that lady supposedly gave over a whole bunch more emails and text messages.
Well, they found all those. No. They found the missing over 1 million emails, wasn't it?
Yeah, text that were missing.
That were missing. All of a sudden, showed up.
It's like Weaselberg. They found out that he didn't give us all the documents for the case.
Did you hear what happened with Weaselberg though? Forbes did an article. Letitia James found it, read it, and now she's going back to the judge going, he lied. He perjured us.
And he didn't give us all the documents, which means his ass is going.
That woman is at work, ain't she? She better be at work. Boy, I'm telling you.
She's going to be going back to jail now.
She's sitting in on everybody's testimony because she is piecing everything together. I love it. Go ahead. Well, how does this impact Donald Trump? So she has secured something for herself, the Strength card and the 7 of Pentacles. There is, so this was never his lawyer. For whatever reason, in these cards, what it looks like is they have so much that they can get from her for whatever reason. I don't know how close she was to all of his plans or if she was sitting right there as they talked about everything. But this looks like
he was in the White House when they were meeting.
Okay, then that's makes sense because she blows for whatever reason everything open. This is the Tower and the 6 of Pentacles. Whatever she has to give causes a catastrophe of whatever it was that they thought they had as far as foundation goes. The 6 of Swords and the 8 of Swords, she's moving on from these relationships. With the Lover's card, she's finding something new in the people that she's co-indicted with. And so there's a whole lot. She's escaping jail, too. That's what that also is. And so there's that, too. But this does cause some rinse and repeat. It's like they need to now maybe add a charge or add a case or add a something, because this is going to go into something else. Because what she's going to give them has something to do with collaborations. 3 of Pentacles, which means they're now probably going to go get somebody else that we've never heard of before and bring them in. And then that person also has something to say. And then boom, here comes a whole nother case and a whole nother Sunday full of questions.
Eventually, they're going to have Rico at the Jack Smith level, not the state of Georgia.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. She's going to, I think, be the linchpin for explaining how the conspiracy, because that's what we're talking, because no one other than Trump thought the election was stolen. It was only ever a tactic, you know. So...
Well, Trump
maybe Mike Lindell
admitted it wasn't.
Oh, yeah, bless.
The next question comes from the community page, and I just wanted to show everybody where you can find that. So when you go to the home page, this is on the mobile, but when you go to the home page of a YouTube channel, the community tab right there, you click on it, and then you'll see the questions for Sunday, or the place where you can post questions for the Sunday night, just in case those who did not know. This one is George Santos has made a claim.
Which George Santos?
He has made a claim that his niece was kidnapped by China.
How did I miss this?
I missed it. Johnny, this is frontline news.
I didn't see this either until it was in the community post. I looked it up.
Is this from the Jewish side of the family or the other side?
He also said he's part African too. So I mean, some Brazilians are. So you know that Afro-centric.
Yeah, you don't have to go down that track. Yeah.
I can't breathe.
He said that the Chinese kidnapped his niece for a brief period of time. So they didn't kidnap for ransom and like hold her and she's still there. For a brief period of time, they kidnapped her as some sort of conspiracy and this and that. They have investigated and found as he made it all up. And the question actually is not even about that. The question that was from the community post is, will Republicans now start to say this guy doesn't belong here, kind of like Mitt Romney did? Will they all kind of say that now, especially that he has been caught with the identity theft and the using his donors stuff? Or will they say, I'll have what he's having, as the questioner said, and then they'll continue to support him and cheer him on, rah, rah? Or is this now the back-turning moment for George Santos? As I use the unicorn tarot. Why not? They kidnapped his niece for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
He said family member, but it turned out that it was supposed to be the niece.
Such a stable family.
Lucky she had Uncle George to say.
Maybe that wasn't really his niece. Maybe it was someone he stole the identity of to make her his niece.
He broke into China with a nail file in his mouth and broke her out of there. He was Rambo. Well, who was it that made all? Was it MacGyver? Is he the one that made all the inventions to do his? Is somebody? What did it be? Very resourceful.
It was MacGyver.
MacGyver.
With the little pocket knife thing, the little red pocket knife with like all the tools inside.
George Santos is MacGyver. I mean, you'd have to be if you helped Jesus carry the cross. So there's that. Oh, gosh.
I can go if you want.
Go right ahead.
I don't think they care. They've got so much else going on. You know, he's not on their radar, I don't think. Keeping it under wraps, you know, just not going there. Their eye is going to the next drama, which is much more immediate than George Santos. And they hope he's just going to go off into the sunset or to jail. They don't care. None of them care. But in answer to the question, I don't think they're going to, you know, do anything to get rid of him.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think they just kind of walk away. I get like shun him. They just shun him. It's like they're like, oh my God, like just what I did. Oh my God, you know, this guy is nuts, but they're stuck with him. Even though his image, you know, is like out of balance and tarnishing them. They're just trying to move on to higher ground and ignoring him. You know, they're waiting for him to have his day in court. You know, it's only a matter of time before that happens. So he's a problem. He's a loser. They're just, you know, trying to stay away from him.
But I think they also don't care because it's Queens. You know.
But that's a seat they can't afford to lose. They could have, when all this stuff started coming out, they could have expelled him.
When the Republican New Yorkers are trying to get him to kick him out because they're embarrassed by him.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dems have Menendez too. I mean, they have,
and they're all calling for him to resign. There's the difference.
Exactly.
There's the difference.
It's a major difference, but it's not enough. These people, I mean, I know someone shouldn't have to do anything until they're actually convicted or whatever, but in Menendez's case, there's history. So isn't there an oath you take not to bring disrepute on the officers?
There was remember that one guy, he was a Democrat, and he ran out of the Senate because the girl that was running for the presidency, what's her face? Was it Gillibrand? Due to sexual assault allegations. He resigned. He resigned based on allegations.
Yeah.
Just allegations. And now it's just like this guy, his wife killed somebody because she ran him over with her car. He stole a bunch of money. He had gold bars in his house. And he's like, well, whatever.
Watch the GOP expel Menendez, but not Santos. Yeah, watch. That's what they're going to probably try to do. They'll expel Menendez, but not Santos.
I get Knight of Swords in Tower. Will they support him? No. This is go very fast away from the fire and just claim you didn't do it type of thing. The Chariot and the World. The Chariot is a card of victory, but you must be on the same page in order to achieve that. And I think they're kind of done. They may have learned a lesson, not the ultimate lesson, but they may have learned a lesson, because the World is a card of learning lessons, because it's basically the second half of the Wheel of Fortune. That's where you start to learn the lessons, and then here's where you complete them. And so they may have learned their in particular lesson with this one time with this one person. That's not to say they have some sort of enlightenment on the rest of their party. Just that he causes too much attention because he lies and he steals. Like the rest of you, he just does it in public and he gets caught. And so that wasn't neutral, but there you go. There is the Nine of Wands. He's becoming a bit of a strain. And so we have to exit stage left and then leave him to fend for himself, which he will.
I just can't get over the fact that every sitting member of Congress knows that George Santos just got indicted for stealing people's credit cards and giving himself the money. And you're totally okay with having that dude associated to your party coming into your place of work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sarah Huckabuck Sanders, I call her Huckabuck now instead of Huckabee, buying a $19,000 fake podium that she could have bought the real version for $4,000.
That's the best twist in that story.
They don't care. They do
not care.
But fiscal responsibility, y'all. Fiscal responsibility.
Yeah. It's all about there isn't enough money to give kids lunches.
Yep. not enough money for Social Security, but let us steal your credit card numbers and go on a shopping spree.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was on the list too. $19,029.25 on the state credit card. Well, let's go there. Because mind you, this is not the first time that she has used state money to do stupid things. So, will there ever be, and I doubt it very highly because she's kind of got Arkansas on a choke grip right now, will there ever be an investigation that leads to anything, even if it's not guilty? Will it lead to anything with Sarah Huckabee Sanders misusing the funds or misusing her office, misusing the funds of the public? Because I'm pretty sure the $19,025 podium, the thing that we heard about, is not the only thing. There's plenty of things. But then again, that's me being judgmental.
You know what she's doing now? She's trying to write a bill, or I don't know if she did already, to ban woke words.
Yes, I think she did it already.
She signed a bill for banning woke words, and let's not talk about. And she also, in her new press conference, blurred out the podium.
Because you can't use the word mother's milk, you can use breast milk, because she doesn't want you to.
That's chest milk.
Chest milk, and so she wants
you from what? A cat?
I don't know. Let's go ask Booker. She would know.
I mean, if these people put this much effort into actually legislating instead of stupid culture wars that are completely manufactured, you wouldn't be in this mess.
In a state that's like 47th in healthcare and 49th in school education
and everything else.
Yeah, it's way down the list. Them in Mississippi, it's like, yeah, that's what you want to worry about.
Yeah, a ban on words, Sharon.
The Dems are very polite because you know how the GOP now is saying who wants to live in a filthy, dangerous blue city. It's a thing they're talking about now. And the Dems could hit back and go, well, you are 49th out of 50 in every measure.
And crime per capita, they're very high.
Yeah, it's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And you get the smart ones like Jamie Ruskin and Swalwell and stuff who do talk about that stuff.
Yeah, it's just the Dems need to learn to fight back. It's time to take the nice kid gloves off and just start punching back, because we're beyond the point of niceties at the rate that we're at right now.
Yeah.
The problem is it's some of them do, but not enough of them do.
Exactly, John.
Everybody's not Swalwell and Elizabeth Warren. We need everybody to sort of get that same spirit that'll take it to a bank or take it to another politician and say, no, you lied. That's actually this.
Yep.
And to take it into social media every single day.
Mm-hmm. That's where people live.
Have to be a soundbite. Don't tell me that clause 42B on page 56 is going to improve my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to vote for you.
And as much as these Republicans rail against taking money from the feds and socialists and everything, the red states are the ones that take more than they freaking give.
Always. But why aren't these really simple stats pushed out? Not complicated.
If you don't want to take, I'm in California. We pay taxes for paying taxes for paying taxes. We pay taxes on everything. Yes. If you want to tell me that my taxes are no longer going to subsidize these red states that are always trashing us, by all means, stop paying them and invest that money back here. And then let's see how much you're going to cry about the feds.
Yeah.
She's got major legal problems coming. That podium, if you think of the tower as like the podium, it's like, and the trip, that's breaking open something else. They're going to move into something else because now they're checking her numbers. Now they're checking the documents and the money. And there's something else new where another girlfriend or something that she got to invoice. There's an abundance of money stuff they're going to be looking into that she tried to cover up and shifted things around. I get there will be an action taken against her, yes, because she's trapped in something else, partying, having a good time, whatever, at the taxpayer's expense. So something else besides just the podium's going to come out.
She's not alone, of course.
Has she got new sneakers or something?
And also, not to be petty, but I'm gonna be petty. Who the hell dresses her? Do they go to the kids section? Like a grown ass woman dressing like she's 12 years old? Like what?
You can't see, her eyebrows are in the way, so it's like
it's like, what are you doing? She looks constipated, like, you know, she's wearing a tiny little dress for kids. It's like, what the
hell? Lord Jesus. Governor of Constipationville.
Oh, God. What'd you get, Lena?
Well, not just yet, a hanged man, but it's coming down the road. And what I get, she'll be quite upset by what happens. And she'll fight it all the way because she's a second generation princess to this sort of obscene spending of public monies and stopping people getting what they're entitled to. She's born to it. So she'll fight it instinctively. But I find this Queen of Cups interesting here. I don't think it's her at all. I think most people are fairly straightforward and they don't get the big complex stuff by and large, but they know a ripoff when they see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And sometimes it's something like this that sticks with people. They don't like it.
Yeah.
She could do much worse. She could spend 8 million doing something terrible. But this, I think, is going to affect her electorate emotionally. That would be interesting.
Will she be investigated? Yes, there's something really important going on into something that is not yet known or something that she's keeping secret. And there's several of them. There's several things that she's keeping the lid on. This could be in regards to, as a thing, this could be in regards to roads. So perhaps there's, we're passing a bill for money to go to roads over here, but there's something funky going about it. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a need to know on these things that are being kept quiet, whether it's projects for roads or bridges or like infrastructure stuff within the state. Also could be in regards to books in the state, but there's a lot of stuff that's being kept quiet and it's being done in a way where it has multiple avenues, if you see what I'm saying. But it is being looked into, or it will be being looked into, because there's a lot of stuff she's keeping quiet, but it's not on the up and up, is what I'm saying. So like, for instance, we're going to use all this money to highway, whatever needs to be fixed. But then you overcharge and then all that money goes somewhere else, and
which is just routine.
Yeah.
It's not that she's the only crook in the building. You know,
yeah.
People have to start questioning where their money goes.
Yeah.
I loved when they asked, will there be an investigation into the podium funds? And she's like, oh, there's no need for that. Of course she's going to say that. There's no need for that.
Right, podium.
Don't
I think that's
investigate
the
me.
killer.
Nothing to see here.
These answers surprised me, actually.
Yeah.
Because I figured, no, we'll just move on to the next thing, because that's what we do in red states especially. But there's your first card. I mean, it should be called, instead of the devil, they should just rename it GOP at this point.
I mean, seriously.
That's
I'm
not
tired of getting a bad name.
It deserves one, technically. The Ace of Cups. There is somebody there though who wants to fight the good fight, and not that they necessarily win, but they don't need to take her down. They need to expose. And that's the time we're in right now. They just need to pull back the curtain and say, you do it for yourself now. Like, you see what she just spent $19,000 of your money. She could have gave everybody in some town somewhere $1 and not done this type of thing. But there's the 8 of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles. There's a file somewhere with 9 of Wands under lock and key, and it's got a whole bunch of information on it on where she is planting money. Now, I say planting because that 7 of Pentacles is a farming card of planting seeds, but it's also favors. The 3 of Cups and the Knight of Cups. These are people that she is greasing the palms of. So just like I said with the highway such and such, okay, it costs $10,000 to fix this highway. We're going to do $23,000 and you keep the rest. And so, and then I'm going to tell everybody, oh, it costs $23,000 to fix this highway when it actually doesn't. And you could have got somebody out there with a piece of duct tape and a couple bricks and fixed it for $22.95. So
yeah.
And the thing with what Johnny just said about pulling back the curtain and what Lena said, she's not the only one. There's a whole group of people that are greasing their own wheels because it's financially beneficial to them. So
in fact, that's the basis of modern politics. This is these public-private partnerships. Instead of the government building the road, taking forever, but building the road, you go for the tender, who's a friend of, right? That's the first corruption point. They always charge more. Then, when the road collapses or the road needs maintenance, they're gone, and the taxpayer has to come back in to bail it out. So the taxpayer ends up paying the venture capitalist and then pays for the road anyway, while they're paying tolls to drive on it.
Look at the millions that Trump cost us to waste on the wall because he was using contractors that he's probably getting kickbacks from.
Wait until they start looking into that, because I'm really curious to see where all those bazillions of dollars that he stole from the Pentagon and the Department of Homeland Security and everywhere else, and that money just poof disappeared for 50 miles of a wall. I'm very curious to see about
that. Have you got Steve Bannon's number? He might be able to throw some light on that.
Exactly, Lena.
So I have a bit of a conspiracy. So if you feel free to not read on this if you don't want to, but the former controller of Trump Organization says that Eric Trump directed him to make certain decisions that led to the inflated valuation of several of Trump's properties. Every single time Donald Trump gets questioned about anything Trump or Eric Trump, is there, this again, conspiracy? So feel free to ignore.
Here's Eric. Under the bus you go, Eric. Under the
bus. And then meanwhile, Ivanka's avoiding her subpoena, saying, "I don't live in New York anymore." Throwing the whole family under the bus.
I've never met Don and Eric. She's of the same tradition.
Mind you, is Eric who until you need to blame him for something.
Eric, is he related to Sidney Powell?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, what's the question?
Is there an agreement to throw Eric under the bus?
I threw Space Dog.
Is okay. Now, James McConey was one of the co-defendants, and he says that Eric Trump was the one who directed him to inflate everything. Internal Trump Organization spreadsheet shown in court Friday show notations by McConey that say Eric Trump directed McConey in a phone conversation, so not on paper, or a phone conversation about certain property valuations that would later appear on financial statements. The judge in the case ruled fraudulent. So is there an effort to blame all of this on Eric Trump?
I think
or are they justified?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. Where was Don Jr. in all this?
I mean, where was Donald Trump in all this? It's like, ain't this your business? And mind you, Eric could have said, hey, do this, but I bet you it came from somebody else. So,
well, Ivanka was at the hairdresser's. She didn't know.
Junior was at the donut shop.
The New York president, it doesn't apply to her. You can't subpoena her.
So will it all be blamed on Eric?
It just seems like his name comes up. And mind you, like I said, maybe it's justified. Maybe this came from him. Maybe this is...
Well, yeah, they don't have real jobs. His job is just to say, make this balance sheet work. So it makes sense that it's... But why only one of them?
Can you imagine your own damn family being like that?
Yes.
Now, is he the one married to the lovely Lara?
Yes. The American Idol.
The singer, Laura?
Mm-hmm. She's a regular Kelly Clarkson. If Kelly Clarkson swallowed glass, then she's a
Oh, no.
I get their, block and protect the leader of the company being Trump at all costs. That there is an agreement, shift the blame over here. As they ask questions, this will keep coming up more and more, and bullying to trap someone in this. There was a discussion when people started talking, doing their depositions and everything, to change the blame, burden him and make him the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah. I must say mine is sort of similar. Yeah. It's like he's the ultimate false knight here, in the sense of that was what his job's been since 18, is to tell lies, to sign off on lies, to broker new lies. It's not like, but there is secrecy about others involved. There is some manipulation at foot. And there's a weird Queen of Wands here. I think this could be Ivanka behind the scenes saying, I'm not going down for this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either both of you, or having a word with Don Jr. in a cubicle saying, dump it all on Eric. I think there's a woman involved, and I think it's Ivanka. The point being, they are the Yeti spawn. Like, it was always going to happen. But I think he won't be alone in the end. I think there has to be something that leads to one of the others, surely, even if he takes the majority.
Yes, ma'am. Widespread family suffering and sacrifice. So,
that's a word.
So all y'all, looking at you too, Melania. All of them, sacrifice, pain, suffering. So, was it the plan? Yes, but at this point, he'll throw everybody under the bus just to save his own ass.
I mean, okay. Look, just if I gotta go down, come on, everybody else come too.
Yeah, is he really going to bite that bullet and just go under and wear the bad pajamas?
No.
Gosh, Donald Trump is the world's greatest dad. Just like, oh my God. Eric Trump.
Family trauma. Just be grateful that Donald Trump was not your dad.
I mean,
world's greatest husband too. I mean, let's flop the ex-wife on the golf course.
No.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine?
No.
Being married to somebody and they plop you in a golf by the first hole. Can you imagine?
I mean, And never mind, I was going to make accusations, but I'm going to make it anyway. It's my channel. Who cares? If you're going to push me down the steps, then I guess throwing me in the golf course is not that big of a
Seriously.
And then hide your
As long
evidence
as
in my
it's a gold
coffin.
coffin, Ivana probably wouldn't care.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, yeah.
He probably has some gold bars of his own in that coffin.
They're probably them little chocolate coins from, because anyway, let me hush. So Aaron Trump in collaboration. I think that it's not far-fetched to say this came from him. So they can blame him, and it might actually be the one time Donald Trump told the truth.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Laura's trying to get a singing career going. She's going to have to take care of herself soon.
They didn't have, though, complete information. 7 of Cups means that there's more to this that you need to sift through, because there's one obvious choice and the rest is BS. And then the 6 of Pentacles is your time, money, information, something being handed out. So whatever they were giving you is still clouded and gaslit. So this is not the whole story. But the Emperor and the child, word of warning is the Fool. He's going to blame him until one of them is dead or both of them. So he's going to keep blaming him for something, because, mind you, he does have a hand in some of this. So again, it's not, he didn't make it up.
That was his job.
Yeah.
It's like what's so sad about the whole thing is that these are your kids. They've seen you. They know Donald Trump's MO. They have seen his dad scapegoat another person to take the fault. Never once did they think it'll be me. That's what you get.
Johnny, that deck is beautiful. And a lot of times when you have a shiny deck, it doesn't show up on camera well. That one shows up really well. May I ask what deck that is? You remember? It's gorgeous.
I can send you the link, because it just says gold foil tarot, and then it just says tarot deck on the side. So I'll send you the exact link, because mind you, I have another one that's the exact same, but it's muted. And so this one Gigi sent to me, so I got that.
Well, a lot of times when they're shiny, they glare on camera. That one,
that's because my light is turned away from it instead of I did it specifically for this one. So
okay, it's beautiful.
Question, we might not have time. I'm just throwing
no, you go right ahead.
Generally, will either of the boys ever turn on their father?
I was going in that direction anyway, so yes, let's go there.
They turned on their mother at the funeral. They all said nasty stuff about her at the funeral.
Whooshka.
They turn on dad. You might have a hard time with that, because that's his supplier. Keeps him in stock on his
donut powders.
His powder, yeah. Right.
Oh. Oh.
If the 3 kids were smart, they'd gang up on dad.
Yeah, but they're not. So there we go.
Ivanka was a smart one and hightailed it out of there the minute she got the first chance.
Yeah.
I live in Florida.
But I heard that
such a
Leticia
good
Green's
mom.
trying to get her on the case too, though. So
Yeah, she slipped out of this one. She skated in New York because of the time frame.
but
There
still,
must be people
but still,
investigating.
she was there the whole time committing
Of
fraud with her
course she
siblings.
was.
Don't let her off the hook either. You know,
Exactly.
I get a yes. They'll betray him when they're punished and they have a mountain of stuff sitting on their heads. They'll betray their father.
Interesting. Yep. Is that it, Becca? Key point? Yeah, exactly. I get the sense that the King and Queen of Swords coming on. It could be one of the wives who turns. Okay, the lovers in the wedding card. That could be Melania, or it could be the lovely Lara. or one of Don Jr.'s wives or whatever. It could be one of those when the boys get down to the pointy end and they haven't even begun with the men, right?
Mhm.
I think it's going to be one of the wives, like Weiselberg's daughter-in-law, that Jennifer, whoever she was, or something.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the women to say, he's not going to say anything, but I've got this. And that could effectively push them into having to throw Dad under.
That's what I get.
That's
Really?
so interesting, though, considering that you're there and your dad is actively throwing you under the. You're seeing it,
Yeah.
you're experiencing it, and you're keeping your mouth shut.
Yes.
I think they're sneaking around behind his back talking, and he's like trying to strong arm them. But I get they would turn their back on him, and the whole structure of the family business as this comes out through the courts.
Yeah.
That if you separated them and talked to them individually and questioned them individually, you would get all the details that would burden the crap out of Trump and what he did with the money and stuff. If you separated them, this would all crash down.
Interesting. What did you get, John?
I think they're going to have to because, thank you, Queenie. I too get the King and Queen of Swords.
Wow, what are the chances?
And I think it's the partnerships is kind of what pushes the women behind them are saying, listen, you're at the 1 yard line. There is no more after this. He's going to pin everything on you. If you don't come out and say this, then da 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 da, because they're going to have to. The 5 of Swords, they're going to be back into the corner. Bully card, 7 of Cups. They have no real options. The 7 of Cups, the reason is confusion is you look like you have a bunch of choices, but you really don't. If you did your pros and cons, and if you did your narrowing down, there may be 1, maybe 2 that makes sense for your situation. And then there's a Tower. It all falls down.
Yeah.
Because this family is built on a faulty, sandy foundation. And so it's going to all fall down. There's another woman here too. So there's possible 2 of them. And they do tell their significant others at the time, whoever they're dating, 2 of Cups and Knight of Cups, listen, this is what you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
And that makes sense to what you and Lena are saying, because the boys are the only, well, and Ivanka, they have little kids.
Yeah.
Even though they're wealthy and they have money coming out of their ears,
but
I'm sure it's still not fun to be a single parent with the father of your children sitting behind bars for who knows how many years for all the crimes they've committed,
Yeah.
So it makes sense. That makes sense.
Wow. Yeah, I think so.
Well, speaking of flipping, Giuliani is under pressure to do so. Right now, he's holding out and trying to find out how he can Venmo his lawyers, I suppose. Will he eventually turn that corner and flip on Donald Trump and just give it all up?
Give it all up.
Now, mind you, him flipping means a lot of that has his name on it too, but maybe you can lessen your sentence because you're not exactly 23. So.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be found guilty anyway. So.
Wow.
Cards just keep trying to fly out.
It's one of those, ooh, I know.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Look, I don't know that Giuliani's going to survive this, honestly. There's machinations behind the scenes of, in a way, he's almost as deluded as Trump. To be this deep in it, over these last few years, he went out and buried himself alive over and over. So his smart brain had already left the building, I think, before Trump even got to power. So he still thinks he's got a chance, right? there's that macho side of him that can't quite believe this could happen to America's mayor. It'll never get that bad. Even though the lawyer backbrain would be going, it's already over, Red Rover. There's part of him that can't believe it, because I think he is seriously brain damaged now. The law is going to come down on him big time. As to whether he'll flip, I think he's sort of almost left it too late. Like, he could have before, but this is my obstacle card here. He's missed the boat almost. It's the end game with the world. I think he's blown it. You know, because all these ones now, the 18 defendants, 2 have pled guilty. All of those are going to go. And when Giuliani said this and did that and did it, he's going to be on everybody's lips.
Mhm.
And he.
Because my thing is, how are you on the same list as everybody? They pleading guilty, and then you're still holding out.
Mhm.
Yes.
You're
It's
not
not
guilty.
a smart position to be in. So I think he's actually so brain damaged, he can't even fake his way out of it.
Mm-mm.
And it's interesting too. Don't they also have phone call recordings of Rudy Giuliani calling people to flip votes and stop votes and all that stuff too?
He was actually, I think, possibly sober enough when he made a couple of those critical calls. He was still using his lawyer back brain. I forget how he used the language, but
Mhm.
it was a bit smarter than Trump. He was obviously thinking, I'll do this before I have 47 drinks, right? And so even though the recordings are there to those people, he used weasel speak, you know.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
Mm.
Yeah, I
But
get
there's so much else. It
Yeah.
doesn't just rest on those. But we know the tone of those. But I saw on one of those legal programs, they said, no, he said this, not
The wording was just ambiguous enough to give him an out.
yes.
Okay.
I think Sidney Powell's flipping really unsettled him. You know, he's still gonna lie. He's still the inside guy, but he's trying to come up with some plans on how to move forward out of all of this. He's got some regrets, but he's still fighting. He still thinks I'm in charge. I can do this. I don't think he'll ever flip on Trump. I think things will keep growing out of all of this. So
Yeah,
Giuliani will be
yeah.
facing more and more charges, but I don't get him flipping on Trump.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get that. Man, the sun and the moon, when his ass is on fire, like when his ass is on fire, I'm not talking about he's got his hand over the ring about to touch it. I'm talking like when his butt is sitting on it. Yeah. By that time, it might be too late, but he will eventually. When he's looking at, okay, I'm 70-something years old. I'm looking at 30-something years in prison. When it gets very hot, then will it be in time? I don't know, but it says it does. He's
running close to the wire. You know.
But this is just the Georgia case. We haven't even heard anything about Jack Smith. You know, so it's just like, and Laura, and regardless of how drunk he may be, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an alcoholic, but you would think he would still have enough brain cells to say, "Yo, you're playing with fire." Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so I get that he will, but it's got to get really, 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 really hot before he does.
What did you get, John?
Distracted. Yes, I think Trillium, I believe that is the one. She put the link to that tarot deck in the chat. Starts with the devil and the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is the transition into the calmer waters, but you do have to go through the storm first, and you do carry a lot of baggage with you once you do. You do need a person to help you get to the calmer waters, though. because you cannot navigate it by yourself. So this is one of those cards that are also in a nice setting or nicer setting would tell a person that therapy is a good option because you need a person to help you transition through all the sludge that you're going through. In this case, it is him being forced, basically, to back away from the devil. This is not something he's going to do on his own. Like Becca said, only if it gets hot. 10 of Swords, he has to feel the extreme pain first. And so it has to come to that point in order for basically there is no other option.
Basically, when they're coming to your house to arrest you to take you to prison, then you'll be like, wait. You know, like,
because there is the 8 of Swords and the 5 of Cups. So if you are facing unless you just like jail, some people do.
Well, the thing that makes me want to vomit on the pavement is he won't go to jail either. I'd put money.
No.
When it comes to the actual sentencing thing, he'll be 83 or something by then. And they say this man has a history of great honor. Tick, tick, tick.
oh, you tapped it all away.
And he'll end up in a facility next door to the Yeti, in some resort-like padded cell.
Yeah, the privilege that comes with being a rich white man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish everyone had stopped pretending the law is equal.
No,
it's
not. It ain't.
But
I think everybody here understands that, Lena.
Speaking of the law, Mayor Suarez, who briefly ran for attention, aka president, he has, of course, dropped out last month or something like that. But he has that Donald Trump effect now to where he ran for attention, as I said, and now everybody in his business. Turns out that a company tied to Miami Dolphins and team owner Stephen Ross, a South Florida billionaire would it be, with a business before the city of Miami. So he needed something from the city of Miami, and Mayor Suarez was the mayor at the time and still is. He gave the Miami mayor, Francis Suarez, a $3,500 Formula One ticket, which I think is the racing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Formula One ticket in May, a newly filed gift disclosure revealed. We're nowhere near May, but it was newly filed as of last month. In the filing to the State Ethics Commission, Suarez reported receiving a single-day pass for the Saturday F1 qualifier race from South Florida Motorsports in LLC, the Miami Dolphins subsidiary, and the organizer of the Grand Prix. So he's got a $3,500 Formula One ticket so far. And in the latest, in a, as they call it, slowly revealed information, he also had a $30,000 Grand Prix weekend paid for by somebody else.
Wow.
Back in May.
Wow.
Did he get a podium?
Oh, speaking of which,
Knock-off podium.
there was a comment. Love Wins, who lives there in Arkansas. Y'all can read that while I go on. But he is supposed to be paying those things back, but there is no record of him doing so. And so therefore it wouldn't be a gift. It's more of a, you give me this and then I'll pay it back. And then there's no quid pro quo.
It's a bribe. What it is, Johnny.
So what I want to know is, since he has ran for attention and all his business is out there in the street, will he have any charges in the future?
Okay.
Or maybe abuse of office or something like that.
And
Criminal
the comment here is really good by Aaron's son. The law is equal. The justice system isn't. Good distinction.
The wording.
That always comes down to that.
Mm.
So Suarez.
And mind you, those are just two of the things. He's got a whole list of stuff.
Oh,
that
there'd be a lifetime.
people.
You just hear mayor of Miami, or it wouldn't matter, mayor of anywhere. It just smacks of corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Am I just a jaundiced old bag? I don't think. good about these people.
Miami politics.
I mean, imagine the crunching behind the scenes for you to get that gig.
Okay.
Wow. Well, I have to think things are going to get a bit tight for him. He's got the 9 of Swords here, but I'm not seeing this as fatal, if you know what I mean. It's going to be uncomfortable. He's calling his lawyers about this. He gets the Wheel of Fortune. I mean, time's up. I think other things will be exposed. This is where you need good investigative journalists, you know. They do a great job because you're going to find out where the money changed hands.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think they're going to stumble on something bigger, and that'll lead them to something bigger and something bigger. When's the next election for a mayor in Miami? You know, it's like I don't think he'll be whisked off in a paddy wagon, as we call them in Australia, but I don't think he'll make it through another election cycle.
He claims he transformed Miami, brought a bunch of business in, and so forth and so forth. And, you know, that was the platform for running for president.
I get he's going to get backstabbed by a woman. It's got some secret stuff on him that he may have slept with her too. So maybe somebody that like he traveled with or something. But there's a woman that's going to hang him up to dry. That's going to make him quite anxious. I get, you know, people he's worked with, quite smug, rich energy. I'm feeling on it. They're going to end up in court because there's a lot of corruption. It's something that repeats over and over and over. There's a lot of corruption, and it's going to get illuminated. But I get a woman calls attention to it.
Investigation, public corruption, public thieving, stealing from the communities and the public. Something around contracts. Contracts, satisfactory or very old contracts that were negotiated and achieved. So it's almost like public corruption, but it's around contracts. Some way, shape, or form, agreements that
he's got a bunch of that too.
Yeah, I think there's going to be this other stuff.
But I get investigations and investigating, manipulating, defrauding, public corruption, and then here around contracts that were established as a. This is not a pip card, but you can read it as a pip. It's the King of Spades. So perhaps there's like some older, more regal sort of person involved, very old, wealthy, senior type of person. Maybe there was something around contracts for seniors, you know, senior contracts that were established, you know, so it's stealing from the public corruption. So that's what I do.
Yeah, good, love it. Not the public corruption, but the exposure.
You're welcome, Trillium Terror. I changed my number, so I don't have your number anymore. But if you find decks that you think I like, send it to me. The Four of Pentacles and the High Priestess. There are secrets and some secrets kept. So this is some money that he is squaring away, things of that nature. There is a woman he paid for some this not illicit. He paid her for something that is also going to be called into question. There's also something to do with land contracts, like maybe building something or permits or something. He got a bunch of paybacks and greased the palms for that type of thing when it comes to land and paybacks. There is also something too about aiding someone in escaping the law or escaping a regulation or escaping a rule or something that would have cost that person or would have whatever. There's something about him letting someone go around something or teaching someone how to do so or letting his office help them in doing that. This person, however, does also grace the palm, the Six of Cups, the old friends type thing. So he may have been helping in that regard as well. There's a woman here also who is going to do some sort of exposure. She is going to be the fly in his Chardonnay. So she is going to be very persistent about it as well. So in the end, somebody does go on the attack and he does actually lose something here. So if it's just his office, his position, but he loses a lot. And he does whine over it. So there is that too. I can't with y'all people. Jesus, it's so easy to live a simple life. I just really
I just don't understand. Okay, some of these people are really good at conniving, and a lot of voters are just worried or just concerned about the surface level. He looks nice, he talks nice. Where is the investigative reporting on candidates before elections?
Yeah.
Because all these crooks keep getting voted into freaking office, and then they get into office, and then you find out they're crooks and they've been stealing, and it's like, how
I bet you someone does it. It's not on a scale. Like, for instance, George Santos was vetted, but the publication that did so got like 9 readers. And so, there's.
But here's the thing, too. This has been how business has carried on forever. I remember seeing Chinatown about corruption in LA in 1974 or 9 or whenever they made that film, talking about the 30s. This is how governments work. Not just America, most governments. America, it's more extreme because the wealth disparity is more extreme.
Yeah.
In Australia, it happened too, but there were more in the middle. Whereas you've got this. Every dollar they've got's come from somebody else. And until people work out who is shafting them, it's not going to change.
So we're going to end on, not right now, but these last few questions in more of the religious and metaphysical sector.
I need more chips.
For this next one, maybe. Julie Green, for those who do not know, is a self-proclaimed prophet. And she is being backed by the self-proclaimed fan of the prophet, Mike Flynn, who said that she hears directly from God and he believes in her voice and her prophecies because she sees Donald Trump back in the office and making everything all right.
And meanwhile, every prophetic thing she said has been wrong.
Yeah. Pathetic thing she said. So it's like,
maybe that's not God you think you have on speed dial, sweetheart. I'm just saying.
She's dyslexic. It's actually dog. And so the question is she a prophet hearing from God? I just want to know. Just if you want to pull 1 card or 3 cards or whatever.
I heard that. Is she profiteering? That's how I think that's my answer. I think that's my answer.
Profit. Mike Flynn believes in her abilities.
He would. He needs the Yeti to get back so he can get another pardon if he ever gets sent. Why is he walking around the streets?
That's what I would really love to know. I mean, he's a foreign agent for everybody but Jesus. So I just want to know. Is she hearing from God?
No. Is she a prophet? No. It's an opportunity to defraud people of their money. Opportunity, money, fraud.
Don't you love when they spell it out? Just
this is saying, honey, this ain't God you're talking to. This ain't God you're talking to. You might as well be calling up that Nigerian prince about words. Okay, like
he is blocked her clairvoyance or clear thinking or whatever. She's out in the cold from it. She is disconnected from her divine source. She's just watching the church and trying to manipulate things. She's got a new place she wants to move into, so I'm going to say she's got a $10,000 mansion she wants.
Yeah, well, these are crystal clear too.
Sorry, 10,000 square foot mansion.
Sorry,
what you get?
Oh, it's funny. Well, she doesn't care as long as people, follow her. She's perfectly happy. She lies down and pretends to have a mystical moment. But really, she's just doing the math in her head while she's lying down. As long as people pay her. She's the ultimate false prophet. Look at that.
Unbelievable. And that people follow this crap is like
Mike Flynn. That she said red Jesus. She might. Anyway.
Good one.
The moon card. No, she is not a prophet. Here's the thing. Everybody is psychic in a different way. Everybody has their own thing. If you've got a gut instinct, that could just be your psychic connection too. But everybody has a sixth sense because that's what nature gave you to make sure you didn't die instantly, type of thing.
Yeah.
To where when the fawn is born, it knows to hide in the grass if there's a predator around from the second it's born. Babies instinctively hold their breath when you drop them in the water, type of thing. So it's one of them type of things. But the moon card says that your mind is being clouded by your machinations, the things that you're making up, the things that you have. This is why ego sometimes is a very bad thing, because it steps in front of your gifts and it says it's about me, because you are not trying to prophesize a message that would help the greater good of mankind. You're trying to get Donald Trump back into office. That is not the message that I would give you, period.
That's it.
And so, and mind you, I'm not speaking for God, but I'm going to say that I'm going to go out on a limb and say he did not give you that message to go give to people, because that is not a thing that would unite anybody. And so I don't also say that God gave me a message Biden was going to be president. That's not a thing that I would get. You can read that in the cards because that's a timeline thing. But we're talking about a message from God. No, you did not get that, homegirl. There's something. The Nine of Wands is pressure and strain. There's something else going on in your life and you need to deal with that first. The Chariot. I think what you also may be having too is some mediumship issues too. Somebody may be trying to give you a message for you to come out of a certain kind of shell. I don't know if you are PTSD from something, but you're in some sort of shell. They just keep telling me she's in a shell of some sort that you need to come out of. And this may be your ticket to getting people to like you, because I think you are traumatized in a different kind of way. And so you need people to like you, and you found your tribe. Unfortunately, the rest of you are falsehoods too. So there's
please
that.
tax these churches, please.
Speaking of churches,
the car horns are going off in Buenos Aires now. It's 93% counted, and the maniac has not got in. But they have a runoff, which is. But the best comment here, I think this should be the comment of the night. The devil lets her go to voicemail.
I like that. I like that.
Now, speaking of taxing the churches, the richest one on earth, the Vatican, the Pope said that he is open to conversations about ordaining women, marriage and no celibacy, and LGBT marriage being sanctioned by the church, if you will. He's open to that conversation, to which a lot of the priests in the world are like, no, because tradition. And so what I want to know is what's going to happen with any of that. Is any of that going to come to pass, or are they just talking for right now? Like he's flipped the table over. Like, we don't do these things, sir. And the reason the Hierophant is because tradition is important to people who like tradition. And so it does not change. It does not waver. It does not like change. It's not progressive. It's rigid, which is why I don't actually care for that card, period. But it's a nice card, technically.
But if they don't snap out of it, they're going to have dwindling populations.
Like those Southern Baptist churches are right now.
All religions are like slowly dwindling down to nothing because all they teach and preach this day and age is bigotry, hatred, intolerance, ignorance.
Yeah.
You know, who if that's what your God is selling, I don't want nothing to do with it. You know, like nothing.
You know, that's I don't think I ever went into. That's why I asked God in my own personal relationship, what should I do? And he told me to preach. And that's why I started in the first place, is to preach and teach to the disenfranchised, the people who were told you're horrible, God hates you because you're a deviant and you're this and you're that, to be basically Jesus to the Mary Magdalene type thing, to be like, okay, everybody else in the world is in the same boat, so you're all equal. And so that's what I was given the charge to do. And so I don't really care for the, okay, now we can accept you because it's 2023. No, just stop.
No.
Also, I think, Johnny, that's exactly what you are still doing.
Yeah.
You've moved outside of the building, but that's exactly what you do. That is your gift.
It's just a system to uphold patriarchy, basically, by force at this point.
Yeah, exactly. The Greek Coptic Church, their Orthodox Church, has an interesting way around the celibacy issue. I didn't know this till last year. So if you're young and you want to join the priesthood, you join the priesthood and you can't marry, just like the Catholic Church. However, if you're married, you can then join the priesthood. So, of course, most of their priests are married and then they join the priesthood, which is a clever way around it.
But what I don't understand is the church's obsession with sex.
Oh,
It's easier to demonize.
You can't raise that with 2 minutes to go, Becca.
It's a human function. So you're going to remain celibate. So therefore, deprive yourself of a basic human function in servants to a God who may or may not be there. Who knows?
Who does not care about your celibacy?
Doesn't care if you're gay.
Because Eve gave in to the snake in the garden and then tempted Adam. It all starts with let's blame the women. That's where it begins.
Obsession with sex. It's like, go whack off already. Maybe you wouldn't be so miserable, you know?
Look, exactly. But we've got to remember the history of it, because it wasn't always part of the Catholic Church. The problem was the popes and all the priests were putting it about so much. They had so many children who were making claims on church estates and things. They had to clean up their act. So you can just imagine the conversations in the back room. I will just tell them we're not having sex.
Yeah.
Like that stopped them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can't have sex with women because you're going to impregnate them, but take the choir boy over there behind the bleachers
exactly.
and, you know, I mean, let's just not.
And on it goes.
I get one of the first things that falls by the wayside is who can speak. So who can be a priest that they'll bring women in. Victory on bringing women into the fold more. So giving them a job, to help grow the base of the church and everything. So I think that's probably going to be the first thing that goes. I don't get marriage and all that. But I do get like allowing women to preach.
What you get?
Well, interesting. We famously don't have timelines in tarot, so I've got no idea who to think. But if they don't do something, they know. That's the only reason it's coming up, not through some, theological moment of illumination. It's, what are we going to do? There's no Catholics left, Okay, and so what do we do about the messaging here? Well, he's floating boats, this Pope, literally. He's putting the boat out of this thing and that thing and that thing and seeing what will happen. He's going to pay a price for it, but he'll be remembered, speaking of history, for at least giving it a go. You know, like they'll come after him, but he'll survive. It's possible they will relent on women because the Catholic Church, unlike the Protestant churches, is all about Mary. All about Mary, who's the mother of God. Just think about that phrase for a moment. Hello, star of the sea. Oh, it's all coming back. It never leaves you, does it? But the point being, if you go up Episcopalian or Baptist or anything, Mary's not mentioned. Right? In the Catholic Church, it's a different story because she's seen as the merciful one. Everyone prays to Mary to get to him. So in a way, she's their trump card. All jokes aside, women should be able to speak in the Catholic Church of all places. So that's my takeaway. There will be a movement towards that, but they probably won't be called priests or something. They'll be second tier, not quite the full thing. They can't bring themselves to go all the way.
Like instead of like an archbishop, like it'll be like the archnun, archmother,
Yeah,
sister.
yeah,
Teresa,
yeah,
whatever.
the Mother Superior of the
Yeah.
Philippines or something. Yeah.
I get there's a lot of problems, blockages, and
Yeah.
delays in regards to sex and family sex that with families, criticisms and abuse in regards to family structures. But I get that ultimately, regardless of all the stuff that happens, there's still the foundation and there's still the structure. It does not move, at least not anytime soon.
No, that's what I said about time. This could be 30 years away.
Yeah, it could be 100 years away.
Yeah.
Maybe when they're left with like 15 people left in the Catholic Church, and they're like, oh, maybe we need to change our messaging. But
Yeah.
I get there's a huge problem here in regards to sex, sexuality, criticisms of families and homes. It's established. It's got the foundation. It's not.
They're obsessed.
Yeah.
I think there will be some sort of surprise with the Page of Cups and the Six of Wands that a more neutral solution will emerge with the Six of Wands, because the wreath of success and victory is on the wand instead of the person as well. So I think a person and a solution and action will emerge that will bring quite a surprise to the world, because it will make headlines. I also think sometime, because it's my card for God, there's something in the future, because I don't really use the Hierophant for that, because I don't really care for the Hierophant. So I use the King of Cups. There is something that is moving a lot of this out of the way. And there's something bigger than the church that is moving things, shifting energies too, if you will, out of the way. And so I think that you don't really have a choice in this matter. You may think you do, but we often think we do. But I don't think you do. I think things are going to be changed whether you like it or not. So there's that.
Yeah.
Last question. So before I start this, though, this person does not identify with she, her. They say they, them. So if I say she, or if we all say she at some point during this, it is not meant to misgender or to be disrespectful. It's the child is, when I look with my eyes, a she, so I may say she, but it's they, them is how they identify. And so their name is Beck Lawrence, and she has a metaphysical shop. She has a metaphysical shop in Pennsylvania, Hanover, Pennsylvania, called the Serpent's Key. And a police officer stopped by to let them know that fortune telling is actually against the law here, because they do readings out of their shop. And they said that they're not going to arrest you or anything like that. They just wanted to stop by and let you know that if you ever had a complaint that they would have to take action because fortune telling is against the law in that in particular place. And so, of course, it was very disheartening to have a uniformed police officer come in and say, hey, you're doing something wrong. And so it kind of shook up the energy there a little bit. But, and they've been doing this for like 13 years, mind you. And so what I want to know, because according to Title 18, Section 7104, it is a misdemeanor to pretend for gain, to tell persons fortunes, or to predict future events. And so there's that. Will this person be okay or like people, or will something actually happen to her in her shop or their shop?
Oh, no, don't worry. No.
Because they threatened once that if you had one complaint, that they would have to come back and charge you with the misdemeanor.
I think this is one of those things that's left on the books forever.
Yes, that's
right,
what everybody else says.
It's the same in Australia when I changed cities and changed accountants. And I said I worked on YouTube, and I sort of gave him a version of what I did, and he said it's still illegal to be a fortune teller. So I think this is one of those things from,
and also back in 2021, somebody was prosecuted for this because that person was making love potions and doing fortune telling, and they were prosecuted. And they did plead guilty to 4 counts of fortune telling and was sentenced to 14 days in jail.
That's hardcore.
Yes. So will they be all right?
I get they're actually going to grow, and there'll be support for them.
Yeah.
They're secure.
Yeah, I get that there's sort of a bigger picture here. I think this is the panic of that situation happening and stuff. But trust your own intuition, this viewer, and move forward. Hold on to your values that are true. Inhabit your power, Queen of Pentacles. Even if the worst came to the worst and someone viciously did it, just speak your truth. And I think you'd be treated leniently, but if it was legal. But with this King of Cups, it's almost like one of these things needs a trial case. I'm not saying it should be you, but this is my vibe with these cards, because I didn't want to read on this one person and their business. It sort of, I know that was about, so it went more general. So I think people would stand up, like Jen said, and time's moved on. I think it could be a case like that.
She'll be okay. And like Lena was saying, perhaps a trial case, because there is a change, guilt, and then innocent. So there's a change.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So I don't know when this law was put on the books, if it was like the early 1800s or what the hell happened,
Yeah.
But there's a change, there's guilt, but then it's relieved here with innocence. So I don't know if that's the result of a trial case or what, but there's a change, and there's no suffering. It gets
Don't worry.
I get that eventually they'll be fine. Knight of Wands, Page of Cups, there's your intuition there. Knight of Wands taking control and moving forward. It ends in the Knight of Pentacles, and so the business will resume. I think it may need a new plan, though, because the Knight of Pentacles is the measure twice, cut once, and so you may need a different strategy to make sure this is secure. So if you don't do your readings in person, you can do them like I did when I lived in Pennsylvania via Skype and Zoom and all that stuff. I mean, I know it may be a technicality, but that type of thing, to where that person is less likely to complain to somebody in Hanover, Pennsylvania type of thing. Because she's going to be under pressure, or they, I should say. They're going to be under pressure here with the Knight of Wands, or the Nine of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, and the Four of Cups. They may make you another visit and say something to the effect of what you're doing is actually against the law type of thing, but they're not going to pressure you too much as long as you keep it clean, blah, 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 blah. So they're going to bother you again. I think they're going to come around again and continue to do the same thing. The Five of Cups. Now, the Five of Cups is a card that can leave you feeling defeated, but you are not. It is one of the 3 cups have fallen over to remain. Use the ones you have remaining. Also, in the 3 cups that have fallen over, 2 of them have wine, 1 has water, which means you lost what you wanted, not what you needed. And so you also have to keep in mind that the thing that sustains you is still there. The thing that you may have coveted is the thing that you lost. And so that's a big deal. But not a big deal. But in the end, with the Knight of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups, I think you'll be fine. You'll actually find a new bit of clientele from this too. So I think you'll be fine, but they will pressure you again, but stay strong, stay true.
It's like these stupid laws that I just don't understand. Apasia Rising is saying fortune telling and tarot readings are also illegal in Oklahoma, Minnesota, North Carolina, and Wisconsin.
That's what I mean. It's one of those sleeping issues. So I think for the person who wrote in and anyone in those states, and there's probably more states too,
Yeah.
Be very clear on any publicity you hand out. Like we joke about entertainment purposes only, but we've all registered our channels for that reason, etc.
Mind you, they have that. They have the entertainment purposes only, and it's still a deal for them.
Right, but what I'm saying is they should just make sure they've got some sort of disclaimer here. So for example, if someone comes to me for a reading, I send them notes, and on those notes there are certain things I don't read on, but also I start most readings by saying, please don't make a major life decision based on a tarot reading.
Yeah.
It's really good at helping you look at the lay of the land and what your options are and where the energy is more likely to be helpful or a hindrance and But I would never say to someone, oh, you've got to sell your house by the end of October.
Yeah.
Because remember, tarot readings are insight, not instructions. You do not.
Thank you. Same principle. And I think it's an important principle.
Yes. So thank you, Lena, for joining us from Buenos Aires. Thank you, me, myself, and I. Thank you, Patty D, and thank you, Queenie, as well, for the super chats. Next week, we will be on Jen Lynn's channel for a Halloween extravaganza. And I need to go try to find a costume or something, don't I?
Man.
I'm going to wear these feathers and call myself a turkey or something. I don't know.
Hands funny, so I can go like this, and the hand can show up on your screen.
That is too creepy. Yeah,
I'll be a jive turkey. That'll be my costume, right?
A jive turkey.
So thank y'all for joining us, all 1,800 of you that were in here, and we will see y'all next week.
One more comment for the road.
Yes, ma'am.
Someone was talking about fake readers who rip off people, and no middle name said, your teeth will grow back. Love you guys.
Bye.